Okay guys, welcome to the second in the series, They Did What. And what I'm really doing here today is I pick a sort of a classic publisher, you know, who made games for the sort of the 8 and 16-bit companies. Now this week I'm going to look at Elite Systems. Now Elite actually started off in 1984. They were known as Richard Wilcox Software, but I think they only released one game under that, which was Blue Thunder for the Spectrum, Atari and also the Commodore 64. In August 1984 the group changed their name and became known as Elite Systems, which is pretty familiar to anybody who had an 8-bit machine. Their first game which they released under Elite Systems was Coco Wolf, which I'll take a look at later on actually. By 1986 they had sort of started on arcade machines. They were probably the most prevalent company for putting out arcade conversions. These games included Ghosts and Goblins, Paperboy, Commando, etc. They made, I'm sitting here looking at Wikipedia, they made a load of games. I mean, you know, they started off, when was it, 1984, and I mean, they were making games right through up to the 16-bit era. I'm not sure if they made any, in fact, yeah, I'm just looking at this thing here, according to this, they did actually make some games for the sort of the SNES and possibly the Mega Drive as well. But games that, yeah, just in sort of numerical order, or alphabetical order I should say. 1942, 3DC, was that? What was that? Not too sure what that one was. 911TS, which was some kind of driving game. Question is Sport, Ace 2, Airwolf 2, Aqua Blast, never heard of that one. Battleships, now I remember playing that on my Commodore Amiga. Batty, Beyond the Ice Palace, Blue Thunder, Bomb Jack 2, Bogey Boy, Chain Reaction, Combat Links, Commando, who could forget that one, Complete Onside Soccer, Critical Mass, Deep Space, Dirt Racer, Dogs of War, Dr. Franken, which was renamed The Adventures of Dr. Franken, that was for the SNES, Dr. Franken 2, Dragon's Lair, The Legend, Dukes of Hazzard, classic, European Championship 1992, Fall Guy, First Strike, Ford Racing, don't remember that one, Frank Bruno's Boxing, which was an excellent sort of home version of Nintendo's Super Punch-Out, the classic Ghosts and Goblins, Grand National, which was a kind of horse simulator, Grand Touring, Gremlins 2 the new batch, Harrier Attack, Hop-In with an apostrophe Mad, Hybrid, Ikari Warriors, Joe and Mac, Coco Wolf, Last Battle, Live and Let Die, Mighty Bomb Jack, Mike Reed's Computer Pop Quiz, Nintendo Soccer, so yeah, they were putting out stuff for that as well, On the Tiles, Onside Complete Soccer, Overlander, Paperboy, Passing Shot, Roller Coaster, Saboteur 2, Scooby Doo. Now I remember Scooby Doo, there was a lot of adverts came out for that game. It was supposed to be some sort of interactive cartoon, and it was advertised for probably about a year, and the actual game that was advertised never quite got a release. I think they just realised it was just slightly too cumbersome to actually try and put onto a system. So yeah, Sigma 7, Space Academy, Space Harrier, Spitfire, Storm Warrior, Strike Point, Striker, Super Trucks, Test Drive, Off-Road, Thanatos, The Fidgets, Thundercats, Tournament Golf, Turbo Street, Virtuoso, Wanderer 3D, World Championship Soccer and World Cup Striker. Let's take a wee look. Right, this is Blue Thunder. Now this was the game that was actually released, you can see at the bottom there, it was called Richard Wilcox Software. That was back when people just called their companies after themselves, and why not? So anyway, this is on the Spectrum, so let's see if I can actually play this. Who do we start? Right, hang on a little second. Get the joystick working, hopefully. Right, here we go. Ding dang do. Now, you know what? Considering I have been into video games for, I don't know, the best part of how many years, 30 years, I've got to say I have never actually played this game before, which is an absolute shameful admission. Now, I don't quite know. What the hell? Right, okay, so you can't push left, but you can push forwards. Right, okay. Can I not fire? Ah, I am firing, I think. Oh, you sod. Now this game looks, or it doesn't look so much similar, but it kind of obviously tries to kind of emulate, is a game called Choplifter, which was a sort of classic arcade game. Am I firing? Oh, bollocks. But yeah, this was where it all started for Elite. If it wasn't for games like this, you wouldn't have Commando. Oh, bugger off. I'm absolutely convinced the older I get, the bloody worse the games I get. Oh, dearie me. I want to try and get 1 point. But yeah, you can see it's a fairly, I was going to say a plain affair, no pun intended. It's a fairly simplistic little game. I've got no idea what the sort of the idea of the game is. I don't appear to be able to bomb anything. That's going to shoot me, is it? No, it's not. Anyway, yeah, it's not the greatest game, although it's possibly because I am completely and utterly pants at it. But that's Blue Thunder, and that was their very first game. That was released under Richard Wilcox Software before they went on to become Elite Systems. Okay, this is Bomb Jack, and this is obviously on the Spectrum. How do we start? P for Kempston. Okay, 1 player game, let's go. This game, when did this get released? This was released in 1986. Although it's kind of monochrome, well, it's got sort of kind of coloured backgrounds, it actually plays really well. Unlike the Commodore, I mean, this was ported to pretty much every home system that was out at the time, including the Commodore 64, which was particularly bad. The problem being with that version was the graphics were just far too big for the actual screen. It also came out for the Amstrad and also the 16-bit machines, the Atari ST and the Commodore Amiga. But I think the Spectrum one is generally regarded as the best version. It does play really well. And what I used to dislike it, but I now realise why they did it, is you'll see a lot of Spectrum arcade conversions, stuff like 1942, things like this. What they've actually done is they've tried to kind of get the aspect of the game correct. So what they've done is obviously like the actual TVs, or is it 4x3, whatever it is, kind of squarey. But what they've done in the Spectrum, a lot of games, is they've actually put up a big kind of side banner. Now I don't know whether that's intentional or not, probably not. But what it kind of, one side effect of it is it actually kind of gives the game a sort of better ratio, kind of more faithful to the arcade. But like I said, I've no idea whether that's deliberate or not, or whether it's just a, you know, they felt they couldn't get the screen moving quick enough, being full screen or something. But yeah, that's Bomb Jack. That's an excellent version. That is the Spectrum one. Right, okay, you've probably seen the best part of this game, which is the title screen with the music. The music's excellent. but just don't try and play the game because it's nigh on impossible. Now this is oops, this is the not the Spectrum one. This is the Commodore 64 one, which really looks nice, but it's just absolutely impossible. I can't even remember what I'm supposed to do here. I need to try and shoot this thing. Yeah, they just made the difficulty far too hard. Oh, there we go. Because you can see there the helicopter is always falling. Oh, bugger off! Get off! It's just stupidly hard. Which is a shame because I says it really looks nice. It's got excellent sound. But they insisted on making the helicopter constantly drop height, which just makes it impossible like that. So anyway, listen, I've had enough of that. That is the Commodore 64 one, and that was Airwolf. That was released in 1985. Okay, this is Frank Bruno's Boxing, and again this is on the Spectrum because the Commodore 64 one was absolutely pants. Let's go for Kempston. How do we start? Now this was a multi-load because obviously it had some decent graphics. Now this particular game, this was released in 1985. I've got absolutely no idea what I'm supposed to be doing. Well, I understand what I'm supposed to be doing, but am I actually throwing any punches? It doesn't look like it. I'm getting absolutely wasted. Right, I've no idea what happened there. Can we start again? Was I even playing there? I'm beginning to wonder if I was. Right, come on, how do we start again? Right, I've got no idea. Oh, just put anything in. Now, I've got to admit, right, I seem to be dodging. I'm certainly throwing punches. I'm not throwing punches, but I can certainly duck left and right, or at least can dodge. So now, I don't know whether was this what this game looked like. I can always remember, or at least my memory. I used to think that it looked better in the Spectrum. This looks kind of corrupted looking. This actually reminds me of the Commodore 64 one. Do you know that? But yeah, this game basically it was a sort of home conversion of Punch Out. This was when you could get away with ripping off companies and they didn't really bother too much. You certainly wouldn't get away with that nowadays. But yeah, you basically have to work your way through a series of opponents, each one getting harder and harder and harder. But yeah, I really don't think that game is loaded the way it should. But anyway, enough of that, let's crack on. Okay, this is Ikari Warriors. This is on the Amstrad. This was released in 1988. It was also out on the Spectrum, Commodore 64, Atari ST, and also the Amiga. But I think this is supposed to be actually not a bad version. Again, this was obviously an arcade conversion. What the earth happened there? Graphics for this particular version are actually pretty nice. Bugger off. Now I think you could play simultaneous. In fact, yeah, you could see there 2 players, so I'm guessing you can play simultaneous 2 player. Was never a big fan of this game, I must admit. Now I'm sure there's a bit where you get to ride a tank. There we go. Let's see if we can get in. Oops, I didn't. Whoa! Didn't notice that wee green guy there disguised as a tree. Now there's a cunningly concealed. What's happened here? Ah, bollocks! Anyway, listen, that's Ikari Warriors, and this is that's on the Amstrad. Okay, this is the Fall Guy, and this was quite an early game. This was 1984. This one's on Commodore 64. Just toggle the joystick. For some reason it keeps forgetting. Can I save settings possibly? Try that. Okay, right, yeah. Fall Guy. Never actually played this. Now this was based on a TV programme of the same name. It was starring Lee Majors, who was the $6 Million Man. I can always remember seeing this game getting advertised. Whoops! Right, what on earth? Right, I've got absolutely no idea what happened there. It looks like a bird has just shot at me. I got to jump or something? Nah, bollocks. Right, it looks like I've got to try and run across the top of some trains. Whoa! Before the bird does a big poo on my head. Ah! I was looking down at a different screen here. Alright, okay. Right, I don't know what happened there. Why did I fall off? Oh, bugger off. Now I'm just looking at the guy that actually wrote this game. Also wrote he also did Airwolf, so he obviously had it in for us gamers. He made games far too difficult. Ah, where you go. The thing is, it actually looks quite nice. Yep, Neil A. Bate. I'm coming for you, son. Right. Now what to do here? Do I jump over him? Ah, where you go. So you've got to keep moving all the time or else that bird does a job in your head. Oh, come on. Well, that's the only time I've played it, and I can quite honestly say I shall never ever play this game ever again. Ah, where you go. It's just so fiddly. And I know you probably think I'm just crap at games, but I'm not bad at some games, but stuff like this is just so frustrating. Anyway, listen, that is enough of that. That is the Fall Guy. Okay, this is one of the earlier games. This is Dukes of Hazzard, released in 1985. Now this is obviously based on the popular TV series of the same name, which as a growing up teenager was always worth watching just to see Daisy in a pair of hot pants. Yeah. Who apparently went on to marry Ringo Starr, so there you go, a little piece of trivia for you. Yeah, Dukes of Hazzard, never seen the game, remember seeing the adverts for it. This is on the Spectrum, which you can probably tell. No idea what's involved in the game. Now, I'm guessing you are playing the part of the General Lee, which was the car the boys used to control. Now, okay, I'm not quite sure what happened there. Pushing up moves you up. Is that jumping? I'm really not quite sure. What is that? I've got absolutely no idea what I'm throwing there. It looks like a razor blade or something, a piece of... Right, I don't know what I'm doing here. It looked like I was getting chased with the police or something. Got no idea what the hell that... Oh right, okay, I've managed to destroy that. So is the idea to try and clear the way through? I'm not too sure. This was released for the Commodore, so I never played it. Right, I really don't know if this is working properly. I can sort of move up and down. Pressing fire button seems to throw something out the window, which kind of destroys some things. I don't really know. And that'll be, is it Cooter, who used to own the garage, coming to tow me away, I think. So, yeah. Okay, that's Dukes of Hazzard, a rather oddball game. And it's got the little famous Spectrum sound effect. Anyway, yep, that's... what is it? That's Dukes of Hazzard, guys, and that's on the Spectrum. Right, this is Overlander. And this is the Amiga version I'm looking at. Now, apologies for not showing any Atari ST ones, but the Atari ST emulator, although it's a fantastic emulator, it emulates things really well, it can be a complete pain in the arse to actually get working. Push forwards to load fuel for next level. Right, okay, what am I doing here? Insufficient funds, let's buy a flame bomb and some armour plating. Nope, or let's go for some rockets. Right, let's leave city. Now I remember seeing this thinking it looked like the absolute dog's bollocks. Oof. Visually it looks really nice. Some really nice kind of explosions, a nice kind of sunset. It plays really smoothly. I'm just trying to figure out why it wasn't a great game. You know, there's nothing really inherently wrong with the game. It does, graphically it looks really nice. It just feels a wee bit, I don't know, empty. Quite a shallow kind of gameplay, I don't know. But yeah, this game, in fact it probably borrows quite a bit from Road Blasters, I'm guessing. It was released on pretty much every system. Yeah, see, the problem with games like this, I mean, I'm going flat out and there's no real sort of feeling of speed or anything. But this was quite an early game in the 16-bit machines. This came out in 1989. So yeah, it was all about graphics back then. You know, and it took a few years before they started to add sort of gameplay to the 16-bit versions. A lot of the time it was just a straightforward. In fact, a lot of the time the 8-bit versions were better than the 16-bit ones. Yeah, graphically it looks alright, but it just feels a bit nah. You know, I couldn't see myself wanting to play this game for any length of time. I've been playing it for 2 minutes 39 seconds and I'm getting a bit fed up already. So anyway, yeah, listen, I'm not even going to finish my game. That's Overlander and that is the Commodore Amiga one. Right, this is a Bogey Boy and this is the Commodore 64. This is generally regarded as probably the best version of the Bogey Boy. It may not be the prettiest. I mean, the 16-bit ones look really nice. But what they did with this particular game is they didn't try to replicate the arcade graphically. They kind of took the sort of the idea of the game and they just basically used it they kind of play to the strengths of the hardware. So in the case of this, they've just obviously used sprites for movement. They've made the graphics quite small, but it just feels really nice. It plays excellently. Some people actually say that it plays better than the arcade one. It's got a really nice feel to it. Again, this game came out in 1987. It was released for the Amiga, ST, Spectrum, Amstrad. Don't think it ever saw a release in any consoles at all. But this is probably one of the best arcade conversions for the Commodore 64. It's just uber playable. As I die, well I don't die, it's game over. Let's try a different course. Ah, balls. If you've never played this game before, I suggest you go and try it. It really is excellent. What happened there? I have got no idea what happened there. Whoops. But yeah, it's such a fun game to play. And I think I would say this is probably one of the best games for the C64 that Elite Systems ever actually released. So anyway guys, listen, that's Bogey Boy, and that's the C64 one. This is Grand National on the ZX Spectrum. This was released again 1985. Now I think this was only released on the Spectrum. I don't recall this ever being in the Commodore 64. Oh bollocks, right, okay, I've no idea how to play this. Race report, you have qualified. B to place a bet, C to choose your horse. Like, let's just go for C. Do you want to place a bet? No. Horse to ride. Let's go for doorstep number 3. It doesn't let me do that. Try number 4. Right, okay, it's officially endorsed by Aintree apparently. Right, energy on the right. Right, okay, I don't really know how I'm controlling the... If I go to press the fire button? Is that a joystick waggler possible? Nope, how do I build up my speed? That's not doing anything, is it? Ah, right. So what you do here is you shake the joystick up and down, which builds up your speed, and then you can move left and right. Okay. Now how do I jump? What position am I in? You know, my position 25. Ah, you know what? I would actually probably quite like this game. Jump. I don't actually know. Ah, bollocks! It looks like I just fell at the jump, even though my little sprite in the bottom screen didn't actually fall. Right, okay, let's go again. I quite like that. Start. You've qualified. Right, I just want to... Okay, let's go for number 7. Corbière. Was that not a famous racehorse in real life? I think it was. Right, what's happening here? 1? Why is it not picking? Do you want to place a bet? No. Horse to ride. Number 7. Okay, right, this time. At least I know what I'm doing anyway. Right, come on, let's go. Right, now it doesn't appear to be accelerating quite as much as I was hoping for. It looks like I'm in last place just now, not for long. Right, jump, jump. Ah, right, I get you. You've really got to look at the top screen, I think. That's what it is. Anyway, listen, that's enough of that, guys. That is Grand National. That's actually quite good fun, I think, if you figured out how to play it. Grand National, and again, that was on the ZX Spectrum. Okay, this is Beyond the Ice Palace. And this is the Atari, not the Atari, this is the Commodore Amiga version. Using a joystick. I am indeed, Squire. Summon Spirit. Space. Keys okay. Yep, that'll do it. Alright, let's go for it. Now, I remember getting this on the Amiga, thinking, oh, it looks amazing, you know, it's kinda like Ghosts and Goblins, but with better graphics. But I don't know what it was, I kinda quickly got bored of it. Looking at it now, it actually looks really, really nice. Now this was released on the Commodore Amiga in 1988, and I think this game came out for all the systems at the same time. I know it was released on all the 8-bits as well. I think possibly what put me off this game wasn't so much it was a bad game, it was just the fact that it didn't really look like an Amiga game. You need to remember that, you know, I had probably spent the best part of £400 on my brand new machine, and here was a game that kinda looked like it could be done in the Commodore 64, so that's probably the reason I never really took to it that much. But looking at it now, it's actually not bad. Apart from that really annoying sound. Oh, that's like the equivalent of the fireballs in Ghosts and Goblins. Oops. Yeah, okay, that's Beyond Ice Palace. Actually, it's not as bad as I remember it to be. It's one of the few games that actually seems better than I can remember it back in the day. So yep, that is on the Commodore Amiga one. Okay, this is 1942, and this is the Commodore 64 one. Let's swap joysticks, and it's still not working. Enable this, right, okay, and swap the joystick back again. Right, at last. This came out 1986, released for Spectrum, Amstrad. I don't think it saw a release on any of the 16-bit machines. I think it would have probably played pretty well had it been, but I don't think it was. I certainly don't remember playing it. Now, I have actually done quite a concise look at 1942 in one of my Arcade Perfect My Arses, and I don't think I particularly like this version. The screen ratio on this is just all wrong. It's long and narrow. So it's not long and narrow, it's extremely wide and very, very short. so you can't really see, and it looks like it's just crashed, which is probably just as well. Oh, here we go. Yeah, the screen really needs to be thin and vertical to our misses, so you can actually see what you're going to be shooting. But the one thing I liked about this version is the music, obviously. But even the graphics in the Commodore 64 one weren't the greatest. Yeah, there's not enough room to actually see what you're supposed to be doing, so it was a missed opportunity, I think. Yep, okay, let's have a look at something else. That's 1942, and that's the Commodore 64 one. Okay, this is the classic Space Harrier, released in 1986. Select joystick, number 2 for Kempston, press enter. Yes, to start game, welcome to the fantasy zone, okay. Now a game like this really shouldn't be possible, you know, if you, when you look at the original hardware, that it actually came on a big sort of multi-cored behemoth of an arcade machine. For somebody to even attempt to write a game like this on a machine that's got sort of, you know, not even just this machine, any of the 8 bits, it's quite staggering, I should say. And this version actually isn't too bad. It kind of lacks colour, obviously, but it's got quite good speed, and the actual graphics don't look too bad. This came out on all the systems: Atari ST, Commodore Amiga, Amstrad, Commodore 64, and most of them were pretty good, to be fair. And dare I say, even the Commodore 64 one wasn't actually too bad. And as you can see there, it was programmed by Keith. But yeah, it's actually quite a feat to even get a game like this running, you know what I mean? It's all said and done, it's not bad at all. It's actually quite a limited game, actually. I mean, the biggest thing for most people with Space Harrier was actually it was the big massive screen, plus you had the sort of hydraulic cab, and obviously playing that on a home system, you're just going to lose it completely. But all in all, not too bad. So yeah, that's a Space Harrier, and that is the ZX Spectrum one we're looking at. Right, okay, this is a very, very early game on this is the Commodore 64 one, and it's by that dreaded Neil A. Bate, who did Airwolf and also another game which I can't remember, which was bloody impossible. Let's see if we can start the game. Joystick, right, okay, that's fine. Let's swap joysticks. Okay, now I did try to play this on the Spectrum. What? Right, rather oddly, you're playing the part of a winged god. I don't know what you would want to call him, but he's right, I don't know what's happening there. He appears to be flying along to the tune of "Consider Yourself One of Us," which was a hit out of the Oliver thing. Right, I've got no idea what I'm supposed to be doing here. It appears you can't land. Right, okay, it appears that everything kills you. Absolutely everything kills you. Now am I trying to collect these little white things? The controls are flaky, to say the least. I thought I'd get my excuses in nice and early. Right, now how am I going to avoid that? Oops. I can actually remember. I can remember back in the day actually getting into this game. It's a bloody awful looking game. Terrible sound, terrible graphics, awful gameplay. But I can remember actually playing it for quite a while. See, once it clicks, then that's it. The graphics are pretty horrendous. You could actually walk as well. Right, where am I going? I need to go up here. But you touch anything and it's instant death. Now this was released on the Spectrum. It wasn't released on any of the 16-bit machines. I mean, it was an early game. It came out in 1984. Right. Can I get past this thing? I think I can. It's actually not as bad as it looks. Once you kinda get a feel for the graphics, it's not too bad. It's by far not a good game, but it's strangely compelling. And it's also got probably one of the most odd names. Cockatini Wolf. If anybody knows what that means, please do tell. Right, anyway, listen, enough of that one. That's Cockatini Wolf. And this is on the Commodore 64. Right, okay, here's another big seller for Elite. This is Paperboy. Now, how do we start? 0, 1, select keyboard. No, I want to play joystick, so let's see if this works. Ah, well, fire button works, so it's got to be a good sign. But alas, no. Let's see if I just swap the joystick, put it onto cursor. Nope. Joystick onto... It's not going to be that, is it? Keyboard joystick. Right, okay. It doesn't want to play ball, so let's see if I can play this with keys now. Being a C64 man, I'm absolutely pants when it comes to playing now. Wait a minute, I've got left and right. Don't know how to move up the way, but that doesn't really matter right now. Yeah, this game was obviously it was a conversion of the Atari Classic. The arcade one also had handlebars. You know, it would help if I could actually. Alright, okay. Pressing A appears to make you go. What is it? Q and A, I think, is it? How do we throw newspapers? I've got no idea how to throw newspapers. Right, listen, I'm not exactly giving a very good account of this game. It would help if I could put it on joystick, but I've got no idea how I do that. None at all. Ah, right, okay, B. Oh, this is really going to stretch my my skills to the very limit. Oh, no, 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 no. Or is it N? I've got no idea. N seems to do something. Can you tell I never owned a Spectrum? Right. N. Take that. Whoops. Yeah, obviously the idea of the game is to deliver newspapers and not die. Something that I am not doing a very good job of. Yeah, listen, I've made a complete pig's ear of this. This is actually a really good game. This is the Spectrum version, which you can probably tell with a really small screen. It is a good conversion. Oh, why is that colour clashing purple? I've got no idea. I'm just complete pants at it. If it was joystick, I would probably complete the game. So anyway, yeah, Paperboy. Okay, that was released on, I don't know whether it was released. Yeah, it was released in every system, I think, even including the Atari 8-bit, sorry, the Atari 16-bit, and also the Commodore Amiga. So yeah, let's move on. Right, okay, this is Commando, and this is on the Commodore Amiga. Now, I know the obvious one to look at would be probably the Commodore 64, because it definitely had the best music, but that was probably where it ended. The Commodore one was great fun, but there was probably more authentic versions, you know, including the 16-bit ones. I mean, the graphics of this are pretty good actually. And what I like about this particular version, it's probably the same in the ST, is you can actually fire the grenade by holding down the fire button. Whereas in the Spectrum and the Commodore one, and possibly the Amstrad, you had to position your foot over the spacebar to throw grenades. But this game must have been one of their biggest hits. It was absolutely massive. Now it came out on the 8-bits, I think 1986, I'm guessing. This particular one for the Commodore Amiga came out in 1989. But graphics for this particular one is actually really, really good. I'm beginning to wonder if I've somehow got collision detection turned on, because I don't appear to be dying. Either that's just my awesome skill. You know what? There you go. So I am actually pish. I didn't mean to put the cheat mode on. I thought I was doing a bit too well. But yeah, this is, I mean, this version just came out about probably 4 years, 3-4 years after the 8-bit ones. So yeah, that's a mighty Commando, and again that's on the Commodore Amiga. Okay, this is another big seller. This is the mighty Ghosts and Goblins. Okay, select joystick. Is it number 2 for Kempson, I hope? Press enter. Start game. Ah, now the Spectrum one's even got a little intro, which can be lacked on other versions. Right, okay, here we go, yeah. Now this was a version which I never really liked. I always thought that my Commodore one was much better. But as I've mentioned before in videos, I've actually kind of grown to like the Spectrum quite a lot. Yeah, it's sometimes difficult to see your characters, as you can see there. You know, your characters are the same kind of colour as the background, which doesn't help matters at all. But this was an absolutely huge game for Elite, though. I mean, it came out on virtually every system, and I think all the conversions were really good. The C64 one had an absolute immense soundtrack. But this is as hard as nails. It's one of the most difficult arcade games, or indeed home system games. It really is. It's just absolutely nails. But you know, again, what these guys managed to achieve on a home system, you know, that famously had less memory than like the Twitter logo. You know, it had more. It took up more memory than the games that were released for these 8-bit machines. So you know, it's testament to the programmers' skill that they got these games running at all. You know, you can tell the Spectrum one kind of lacks any proper sound. It's just kind of full of wee farty sounding noises. No. Oh, close. No. That was close as well. Yeah, that's the only thing about this one. It's kind of hard to see just what you're going to be coming up against. Oh, you can bugger off. Oof. What is the chances I'm going to die here when I try and jump? Let me just test the jumping ability. Yeehaw! And this is when you get the wee kind of ghosts, which are quite difficult to avoid. They're quite unpredictable. Bloody hell. And it doesn't disappoint. Oh, piss off. Okay, so they've kind of cheated slightly in this version. It's usually a big kind of ogre thing that you get, but it looks to me like they've just used the ogre that you get in the second level. So the Spectrum one looks like it's taking a few shortcuts. Piss off. Right, anyway, listen, that's enough of that one, guys. That's Ghosts and Goblins, and that is the ZX Spectrum. Okay, right, this is the last game we're going to look at. This is Scooby Doo. Yeah, as I mentioned before, this game, it was advertised as being a sort of interactive cartoon. Now, the screenshots that were getting published in the adverts made it look absolutely incredible. It really looked awesome, and it was advertised for such a long time, but eventually they realised that it was just far too ambitious, and you know, they just couldn't physically release a game that was as advanced as the screenshots were kind of showing you. So this is basically what came out. This wasn't what the game looked like in the adverts. And this particular game, I'm sure I actually bought this game. It's alright, but I said it looks nothing like what was advertised, which is a shame, you know, but hey ho. This is the C64 one. It also came out on the other two 8-bits, I believe. I don't think it came out on the Amiga. I mean, it came out in 1986, so again, it's a kind of right, so I can actually fight. So it's kind of beat 'em up then, is it? Kill the ghost. Kill the ghost. Yeah, it's a bit of a missed opportunity, I think, if I'm being entirely honest. Yeah, okay, listen, that's enough of that, guys. That's Scooby Doo. So that is the last game I'm going to look at. I mean, there was absolutely a ton of games came out. loads and loads and loads. I couldn't possibly look at every single one. But yeah, they were a good company. I mean, they were one of the very, very first companies to start releasing, 8-bit software. And unlike a lot of early sort of companies, the quality did get better as time sort of wore on. In fact, they do still exist, not in the same sort of format. They're actually, they released a Kickstarter program, a Kickstarter sort of project. They were bringing out this, what was it again? It was a kind of add-on, a Bluetooth Spectrum keyboard. But where they kind of got a bit naughty was they were going to release like thousands of games with it, but they didn't actually bother to ask anybody, any of the programmers or companies, if they could actually use their games. So that was a bit cheeky. So I think people, when they found out that, people withdrew their money from the Kickstarter, and it never actually went ahead. So anyway, yep, that's it. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed watching it. I do realise they're a wee bit kind of hit or miss, some of the videos I'm putting together in this series, but this is only number 2, so hopefully the more I put together, I'll get to I'll get a format which I'm happy with, and hopefully the quality of these particular videos will get better as well. So as usual guys, please feel free to like, comment and subscribe, and as usual, thank you so much for watching.